Chapter 1. The Tragic Loss. The Shadow Whisperer cuts through the endless blue waters, her dark hull gleaming against the sun's rays. Weeks have passed since the crew's harrowing escape from the mysterious figure's lair. The ship moves with purpose, her tattered sails catching the wind as she approaches her destination. Many weeks have passed on the open seas since Mad Jack and his crew escaped the mysterious figure's lair. After rescuing Lupi, she has remained silent, not uttering a single word during their journey across the waters. On deck, Mad Jack Ketch stands at the helm, his weathered hands gripping the obsidian wheel. His eyes are fixed on the horizon, where a mysterious island begins to take shape through the morning mist. Moby, the fluffy anthropomorphic cat, sits near the bow, his sapphire necklace catching the light as he watches the approaching landmass. His dark brown eyes reflect both curiosity and concern. Zamgal, the towering figure with his comically large falchion strapped to his back, grins widely as he spots their destination.
Luxad, ship at Isle, as promised.
Lupi stands silently near the mainmast, her eyes distant and haunted. She has not spoken since her rescue, but something stirs within her as the island comes into view. The island emerges from the mist like a ghost from the past. Towering shipwrecks rise from the waters around the isle, their broken masts and torn sails telling tales of long-lost pirates who sacrificed themselves to defend the pirate code and honor the future of pirate existence. A misty haze envelops the entire island, creating an ethereal atmosphere. There is only one entrance into the cove and one way out. The entrance leads to a fortified fortress, where dark shadows dance between the shipwrecks that have been transformed into homes by other pirates. Lanterns flicker like fireflies in the gloom, and numerous ships are docked at port.
Prepare to make port! Lower the sails, and ready the anchor.
The Shadow Whisperer has her own dedicated spot at the dock, a berth that stands out from all the rest. As she glides into position, other pirates gather along the waterfront, gazing in awe at the magnificent vessel. The ship's figurehead commands attention. A winged female angel extending her arm while holding an orb that was taken from an arch-enemy of Mad Jack Ketch long ago. The figurehead continues to spew out mist, which splits down past the bow and flows along either side of the Shadow Whisperer, almost covering the ship in a white cloud. As the mist travels along both sides of the vessel, the green glow of the hull becomes visible against the main dark black-colored hull. Above, the dark tattered sails display her war scars from countless battles across the waves. The ship's deck showcases obsidian cannons, an obsidian capstan, and the obsidian wheel at the helm. The ship's lanterns cut through the misty haze of the isle as the Shadow Whisperer makes port. As the anchor drops with a thunderous splash, Lupi suddenly breaks her weeks of silence.
I'm home.
Lupi, you spoke.
She nods silently, her gaze fixed on the familiar surroundings of Shipwreck's Isle. The crew works efficiently to offload cargo from the ship to a nearby warehouse. Crates of the barrels are passed from hand to hand, the sound of their efforts echoing across the misty harbor. As the unloading finishes, Mad Jack stretches his back and looks at his crew with satisfaction.
Well done, everyone. I think we've earned ourselves a drink. What say you all to a visit to the Scruffy Dog?
That sounds wonderful, Captain. I could use something to warm my bones after all those weeks at sea.
Now you're talking. I'm thirsty. I drink.
Mad Jack turns to Lupi, his expression gentle.
Lupi, would you join us?
She considers for a moment and nods.
Yes, I think I'd like that.
Mad Jack ensures the ship's provisions are well stocked and secure before leading his crew toward the tavern. Sometimes, he reflects, you just need a grand meal to fill your stomach after a long quest. The tavern door swings open, releasing a wave of sounds and smells that assault the senses. The sticky stench of spilled rum mingles with the acrid smell of flintlock powder from freshly discharged weapons. Drunken pirates enjoy themselves, perhaps a bit too enthusiastically, their raucous laughter filling the air. Several pirates lie completely passed out on their tables, having consumed far too many drinks. The crew makes their way through the crowded tavern, stepping carefully around the unconscious patrons.
The atmosphere here is certainly robust.
That's one way to put it, my furry friend.
Moby and Zamgal approach the barkeep, a grizzled man with arms like tree trunks and a permanent scowl.
4 drinks, please. The captain's buying.
Meanwhile, Mad Jack gently pulls Lupi into the shadows near a quiet corner of the tavern.
Lupi, are you all right? I was shocked to hear you finally speak after several weeks of being rescued.
I need time to process what happened. That place, his lair, it changed something in me. But being here, seeing this place again, it feels like I can breathe.
You're safe now. We're all safe. That's what matters.
They rejoin the others at the table where Moby and Zamgal have secured their drinks. The 4 settle in to enjoy their beverages in relative peace. After taking just one mouthful of his drink, Mad Jack notices something amiss. He scans the tavern, counting heads.
Where's Henderson?
He rises from the table and heads outside, making his way back toward the ship. There, he finds one of his crew members packing personal effects and his share of their recent haul.
What are you doing, Henderson?
I've seen the dangers associated with Jack. It's dark and uncontrollable. I'd rather not risk my life with the problems you have on the seas. I am leaving the crew, and I wish you well on your next adventure. No hard feelings, mate.
Mad Jack sighs deeply, understanding the man's decision, even if it disappoints him.
I understand. Live your life and pursue your next adventure as I would mine. Fair winds to you, Henderson.
Mad Jack makes his way back to the tavern, arriving just in time to hear a band beginning their musical performance. The lively tunes fill the air and he sits back down at the table. He reaches for his glass only to find it empty. Mad Jack looks around suspiciously and catches Lupi's eye. She gives him a cheeky grin, and it becomes obvious she knows who drank his beverage. Of course, she doesn't drink alcoholic beverages herself, but the crew deserved their drinks after everything they've been through. As Mad Jack goes to get a refill, he realizes he is now 1 crew member down and will need to recruit a replacement. For now, though, he decides to sit down and enjoy his drink. Later in the evening, as the tavern grows more crowded and boisterous, Mad Jack notices someone he hadn't seen before. A young man sits at the bar, a sword in its sheath and a double flintlock in the holster across his chest. His attire is reminiscent of the 3 Musketeers, neat, tidy, and well-maintained. Mad Jack overhears the conversation since their table is positioned right by the bar.
Are there any crews hiring around here?
The barkeeper simply shrugs and grunts, clearly having had enough for one night. Mad Jack, being Mad Jack, struts up to the person in question.
I couldn't help but overhear. Let me buy you a drink.
The stranger looks up, sizing up Mad Jack with intelligent eyes.
So, What brings you here then? What makes you want to find a crew?
You really want to know? Well, alright then. Truth be told, I'm not a pirate. I'm a hired gun, a bounty hunter, a mercenary if you like.
Mad Jack's hand instinctively moves toward his dagger.
Please, just leave that be. I'm not a threat, especially here. I'm Jacques Decton, but you can call me Jack for short if you like.
Oh yeah? My name is Mad Jack. Guess we have one thing in common. Our name.
Wait, Mad Jack? Mad Jack Ketch?
Yeah, that's the one. But be quiet about it. No idea who's listening nowadays.
As their conversation continues, Mad Jack learns more about this mysterious Jacques. But one question still lingers.
If you're a mercenary, hired gun, or whatever you're calling yourself, why are you here? Answer the question this time, and try not to avoid it.
Fine. I escaped my last assignment. It was brutal. I would only receive payment upon completion, not half an hour and half later like usual for the risk versus reward, but there was a lot more of the former. I travelled the seas with a crew of privateers, or so they claimed. Their experience was poor, to say the least.
The conversation continues, and Mad Jack learns enough to believe that Jacques could be a valuable asset to his crew. He decides to extend an invitation.
How would you like to join my crew?
Jacques hesitates for a moment, considering the offer carefully.
Alright, Captain. I accept.
Welcome to the crew, lad. Come over here, and I'll introduce you to the rest of my crew.
Mad Jack leads Jacques over to their table where Moby, Zamgal, and Lupi sit with their drinks.
Everyone, I'd like you to meet our newest crew member, Jacques.
The crew looks shocked and confused by this sudden development.
Do we have room for this guy, Captain? I thought the ship's roster was full.
Yeah, well, thing is, one of them took early retirement as of tonight. I mean, I think it was early retirement anyway. They just didn't want to follow me on this so-called dangerous path that we are supposed to be taking. Said it was too dark and uncounterable.
They speak truth, Jack. What happened all weeks ago? Scary stuff, dark and dangerous.
Yeah. The way that dark figure had you in its grasp. You screamed in pain. It was unbearable. It was sad to hear you in so much pain, Jack. The crew wants to know. What was it like?
Mad Jack's expression grows distant and pained as he recalls the experience.
It felt like my soul was being torn apart. Everything I have experienced, meeting friends, having new experiences, enjoying times with my crew, it was all being taken away from me. It felt like thousands of daggers piercing into my back. I wish this pain on no one. No one should experience this, but this is my burden to bear.
As the crew continues their discussion, Mad Jack begins having flashbacks. The tavern around him seems to fade as memories of that dark encounter flood back. The mysterious figure's grip, the pain, the feeling of his very essence being drained away.
Captain! Captain! Are you alright?
Mad Jack snaps back to the present, shaking his head to clear the haunting memories.
I'm fine. We need to set sail at dawn.
Moby turns to Lupi with concern in his eyes.
Lupi? Are you coming with us? I believe now, more than ever, Mad Jack needs you. You know his past, his secrets.
Lupi nods without hesitation.
Yes, I'll stay with the crew.
The crew prepares the Shadow Whisperer for departure as the first light of dawn breaks across the misty harbor. The ship's sails unfurl, and the anchor is raised with the grinding sound of the obsidian capstan. As they sail out of the protective cove and approach the mouth of Shipwreck Isle's entrance, a horrifying sight greets them. Burning shipwrecks and debris litter the water, the flames casting an eerie glow through the morning mist. Suddenly, a concerning voice echoes across the sea. The sound seems to come from every direction at once, making it impossible to pinpoint its source. Mad Jack's face grows pale with recognition and dread.
You may have escaped with your pathetic crew catch, but I will find you, and when I do, your ship, your crew, will suffer my wrath.
The voice fades, leaving an ominous silence broken only by the crackling of the burning wrecks around them.
What was that? Captain?
Yes. He has no name that I know of. He was the dark figure the crew spoke of last night. One encounter I do not wish to have anytime soon. Do you see Lupi down there? We rescued her from his lair. It was dark, gloomy, stench-ridden, with rot, blood, and dark nightmares.
My lord, that must have been hell. But how on earth did you survive?
Mad Jack doesn't answer, his jaw set in a grim line.
He can be real stubborn when it comes to opening up. When you're so new to the crew, that's a hard ask. Be patient with him.
Mad Jack's been through a lot last month.
I guess I understand. If it really opens up to you, I highly doubt he'd open up to me. Still, I reckon we should get as many worries off his back as possible. Is there any position to take over? A duty to complete? The crow's nest, perchance.
That's a great idea!
We need Barney to replace Henderson. He always up, crow's nest, keeping watchful eye. It's strange he left. He lived for danger and adventure.
As Jacques begins climbing the rigging with practiced ease, Moby and Zomgal can't help but admire his entire attire.
An outfit, like one of the Three Musketeers. So neat, so tidy.
So, hands.
Cut it out, you two, and focus.
The Shadow Whisperer has been sailing for many days across the endless blue waters. From his position in the crow's nest, Jock spots something on the horizon.
Land ho! Large island ahead! Palm trees and lovely beaches!
Mad Jack studies the approaching island through his spyglass and makes a decision.
This is where we stop. Raise the sails and prepare to drop anchor.
The Shadow Whisperer slows to a gradual stop before grabbing anchor in the crystal-clear waters near the shore. The golden, light, sandy beach stretches for miles, dotted with palm trees that provide ample shade for weary travelers. The crew rows to shore in the ship's boat, their feet soon touching the warm sand of the beach.
So, Jack, why did we stop here? What's the plan?
This island holds fond memories for me. I've visited it many times before. You see, hidden in the shade amongst those trees, there's an underground storage full of long life provisions, food and drink.
The crew decides to set up camp and rest for a while, grateful for the opportunity to feel solid ground beneath their feet after so many days at sea. As they settle in the shade, Mad Jack observes his crew and notices a sudden change in Lupi's facial expression. Her eyes grow distant, and her face pales as if she's hearing something the others cannot. It's the mysterious figure's haunting voice, reaching out to her across the vast distances. The foul voice roams the air. Only Lupi can hear it. It is directed to her and her alone.
Lupi, only you will hear this. I will get you. You will return to me, and I will strip you of your soul. You will not be able to remember him any longer. Your memories of Mad Jack will vanish. Every day I am not interrupted, I grow stronger. Your time will come.
Mad Jack notices her distress and rushes over.
Lupi, are you okay?
She nods, though her hands are trembling slightly. Mad Jack gives her space to breathe, understanding that she needs a moment to compose herself. As day turns to night, the crew lies on the soft sand, looking up at the spectacular display above them. The aurora borealis shines bright across the star-filled sky, its ethereal colors dancing in ribbons of light. The crew shares stories and tales from their lifetimes, their voices growing softer as the night progresses. One by one, they begin to fall asleep under the magnificent celestial display. As morning breaks, Mad Jack is the first to wake, listening to the seagulls cawing around the ship anchored offshore. Mad Jack has deep thoughts whilst listening to the seagulls screeching and the waves crashing on the beach around him.
I swear the first gull that fouls my ship will be the first meal I cook aboard the Shadow Whisperer.
Unknown to Mad Jack, Jacques was actually the first crew member to wake, followed by Lupi, then Zamgal and Moby. They gather quietly to discuss plans for their next adventure.
I want to travel north to the colder regions. I have some old pirate friends who owe me a favor.
That sounds like a solid plan, Captain.
I agree.
Count me in!
I'm with you all.
Zamgal takes it upon himself to wake the rest of the crew, his booming voice startling them from their peaceful slumber.
Get up, you lazy dogs! Time to move!
Jacques chuckles at the display and turns to Mad Jack.
Oh, is Somgal always like that?
Zamgal has a rather loud voice, but it comes in rather useful, I'll admit.
The crew rows back to the Shadow Whisperer, and they unfurl her sails to head north. The wind seems to be in their favor, filling the dark canvas with promising gusts. As the ship cuts through the waters heading north, Moby and Zamgal manage to get Lupi alone on deck.
Lupi, is Jack okay? He seems different since we left the island.
I'm not sure what's going on. He hasn't said anything to me about it.
Hours pass, and the temperature becomes noticeably lower. The crew can see their breath in the increasingly cold air, but the seas feel calm. Too calm. Nothing is said as the Shadow Whisperer sails on. With wind caught in all three sails, they're moving faster than usual, but the tides beneath them feel unpredictable.
Captain, are you sure about this course?
These are strong currents, Moby. These currents aren't on my charts. Everybody, hold on!
The Shadow Whisperer picks up to undeniable speeds, faster than she's ever traveled before. Fog appears ahead, thick and ominous. The fog grows closer and thicker.
I need eyes! One in the crow's nest, one on the bow, and someone raise that damn midsail!
The ship feels like she's losing speed as the mysterious currents end. But now the Shadow Whisperer finds herself in the middle of a dense fog cloud. Visibility extends no further than the bowsprit.
Raise all sails! We wait until this fog clears. I'm not risking the Shadow Whisperer.
Time passes slowly. The ship creaks ominously in the still water, the sea remaining undeniably calm. Zumgal's keen ears pick up something in the distance.
Did you hear that?
The sound comes again, louder this time.
Did you see that?
Moby and Zumgal begin to grow paranoid, wondering if the fog is playing tricks on their senses. Then there's a loud thud that shakes the entire ship. The Shadow Whisperer creaks louder, as if the sea itself has grasped the vessel in some supernatural grip. Suddenly, a noise erupts that all the crew can hear clearly. Mad Jack's face goes white with recognition. He's heard this sound before, though he never knew what caused it. The sounds of something massive emerging from the water surrounded the ship from all directions. From his position in the crow's nest, Jacques gets the first clear view of the attacker.
Kraken!
Kraken!
Lupi, Moby, Zumgal, and the rest of the crew look to Mad Jack for orders, their faces filled with terror and determination.
Defend the Shadow Whisperer! Get the spears! Load the cannons! Battle stations! We must defend her!
The battle begins in earnest. Cannons fire with thunderous roars, spears fly through the air, and muskets discharge their deadly loads. But the Kraken doesn't give up easily. Its strong, thick tentacles smash through the ship, penetrating gun ports and rendering cannons useless. The creature creates holes in the Shadow Whisperer larger than Mad Jack has ever seen before. Mad Jack watches in horror as one of the Kraken's massive tentacles wraps around the rear mast and crushes it with sheer, devastating force. The sound of splitting wood fills the air. Jacques pulls out his double-barreled flintlock and fires. But these aren't ordinary pellets. These are oil-soaked rounds that catch fire when discharged, penetrating the Kraken's tentacle that has gripped the rear mast. But it's too late. The rear mast is already crushed beyond repair. A tentacle moves with lightning speed, too quick for Mad Jack to react. It grabs his feet and pulls him from the helm, dragging him across the deck.
Captain!
Ah! Tentacle! Save Cap!
Mad Jack continues to be dragged by the powerful appendage, pulled through his own captain's quarters as furniture and belongings scatter everywhere. Lupi manages to start hacking away at the tentacle with her cutlass as it drags Mad Jack through the cabin, her blade finding purchase in the creature's flesh. She successfully frees Mad Jack from its grasp, but the attack isn't over. Mad Jack realizes with growing dread that the Kraken isn't after the crew. And it isn't after the ship itself. It's after him specifically. There are darker forces at work, and Mad Jack can't quite place his finger on what's controlling this beast.
Get all the gunpowder barrels available! Hoist them up in the fishing nets and spare rigging! We need to get the tentacles together for one massive explosion!
Boom! I like boom! Now we're talking!
The crew hustles together, working frantically to hoist the gunpowder barrels up in the available nets. Mad Jack notices some of his precious rum has also been caught in the netting.
My rum!
As the tentacles close in on the netting, Jacques takes careful aim and fires his weapon. The explosion is tremendous, and the Kraken retreats into the ocean depths, but only briefly. Mad Jack turns to Lupi, his expression grave.
Lupi, you saved me back there. I need you to understand. This Kraken is after me specifically. Not the crew, not you, me. It's probably being controlled by the mysterious figure. He's probably got his dark power he so desired. The only way to end this is for me to enter the foul, stinking breath of the Kraken, and to be taken to the depths. There is my final fate.
Lupi's eyes fill with tears as she tries desperately to change Mad Jack's mind.
No, Jack, there has to be another way. We can't fight this together.
Mad Jack salutes. Mad Jack's mind is made up. Without another word, he proceeds to walking the plank and leaps straight into the churning water, taking only his cutlass with him. Soon after he jumps, the Kraken releases its grip on the ship. Krakens don't usually behave this way, confirming that it must be under the control of someone with immense power. All the crew witnesses what happens next. The crew yell for Jack.
What are you doing, Jack?
Jack, no!
No! Captain!
Lupi stands tall with courage in her face. Without hesitation, Lupi takes command of the Shadow Whisperer.
Make haste! Full sail! We need to escape and get to the land as soon as possible!
The crew springs into action, their hearts heavy with the loss of their captain, but determined to honor his sacrifice. Mad Jack sinks into the dark depths, his cutlass gleaming in the filtered light from above. The Kraken's massive form approaches, its tentacles reaching out toward him. As the creature's jaw opens wide, revealing rows of terrible teeth, Mad Jack closes his eyes and prepares for whatever fate awaits him in the depths. The crew are shocked at what happened, speechless, but they followed Lupi's every command, like Mad Jack was commanding the crew. They shift the rigging. The back mast has shattered into pieces. The crew would need resources before being able to repair the mast. The sails angled slowly as the crew have lost confidence, their captain gone, and everything feels like it'll end. The ship sails away from the scene as quickly as the wind carries her, leaving behind the fog in the terrible battle. The crew works in somber silence, each lost in their own thoughts about their captain's heroic sacrifice. They reach a large island with what looks like a few rivers meeting the sea. They drop anchor and follow the path up one river that links to the sea, taking cover from any further attacks. Can Mad Jack be saved? Or was this his final act of kindness to save his crew?
We cannot just turn and run! Jack sacrificed himself to save us. What? Us hiding on an island?
Moby, he sacrificed himself to save us. Harsh as sounds, this sacrifice was greater good. It saved more crewmates than if he stayed here.
How dare you say it was for the greater good? You insult him as he has sacrificed himself for us. For his crew. His friends.
I know I've only been a part of this crew for so long, but he was a great captain. He looked after us, all of us, and respected everyone twice as well as they deserved. But surely he wouldn't want us to argue between ourselves. He'd tell us to get safe, restore the ship, and come up with a plan on what to do next.
I guess you're right. But you said plan? Do you think there's a plan to be made? After we lost our captain, do you think there is a way to save The captain?
Could be, but it's very low chance. Where would look? Jack would know and...
But he's not here, is he? For all we know, he could have drowned, died by that horrific beast.
Surely he would have seen the signs and known the risks. We all heard that terrible voice echo across the seas when we left Shipwreck Isle, didn't we?
The crew pieced what Jacques said together. The mysterious figure gave words of warning.
You may have escaped with your pathetic crew, Lupi. But I will find you. And when I do, the Shadow Whisperer and your crew will suffer my wrath.
So this was that foul, dark figure's person's plan all along? To take Jack from us and watch us suffer?
From scrying pool, we should have destroyed it.
It's too late now. What is done is done. We cannot change the past. Jack is gone.
A ship, she dreams of wind in her sails, of wind in her sails, unfurled and shining as we cross the sea, we cross the sea for home. Then we'll all raise our voices, a song in our hearts, and set our eyes on distant shores with wind in her sails again. There'll be cheering in Conley, no more squabbling and brawling. When we have the wind in our sails. When we have our feet on the ground, we'll sow our good fortune around. There'll be feasting and pleasure measure when we